Hey everyone, Rich back here again. Got another Revit tip I don't know, not tip of the day, but anyway, I actually had a situation with a client come up recently, so I wanted to share what happened and what I did for a solution. So I have this project. What you see actually on the screen right now is the point cloud from the project. It's a multifamily project, 6 or 8 apartments, something like that, in the building. So it's existing building. We're renovating. Most of the project is renovating the interiors, but it's in a historic section of Philadelphia. So this project has to go in front of the Historic Commission and get approval there before getting the final approval. So I'm showing the point cloud because this is the existing. This is the rear of the building. And we have a number of, these are actually more like fire escapes on each floor, second, third, and fourth floor. They're over here on the other side. This is just a main exit stair. And what we want to propose for this portion of the project is there's actually 2 parts. There's an interior renovation of all the apartments, but then we have a second part that we don't want to hold up the whole project. So we're doing a second phase of approvals for this part of the project on the back. We want to replace these fire escapes with decks. So initially we proposed a deck going from pretty much this wall here of the fire escape, or I'm sorry, the main stair over to the property line or the party wall to the neighboring property. And the same deal over here from stair wall over to the property line. Basically took it from this face, put out a deck. Well, Historic Commission didn't like that. They thought they were too big. It messed with the the original character of the building, etc. So they wanted smaller decks. So what we came up with for a solution is, let me unhide and let me turn off the point cloud. And basically are these smaller decks. Now we had a deck here on the second floor that we were allowed to keep the same because you had this kind of roof below, and some of the information actually missing from here. But then these other decks, we just essentially took them to the same depth of what the fire escape was. In this case, you can't see it in the Revit model. I kind of went generic a little bit here, but there's a mansard and a fascia here that's extended. They want us to keep that. Actually, let me just do an undo. Maybe you can see it. Well, you can kind of see it a little bit with the point cloud kind of overlaid on it, but you have a. Hold on. Let's see if I can pin this. Oh, hold on. Pin that. Okay, there we go. So you can kind of see it here. So they want to keep this cornice line here. There's another one over here. So we cut back, basically kept these decks as the same really as what the fire escapes were. And then here on both sides of the fourth floor, but on the third floor we could extend these over. So we extended them the whole way over to the wall. But then kept the same depth of what the fire escape used to be or will be, what it is currently. But then what I wanted to cover today, and this is more for the Revit tip. Let me actually just, we can turn this off, turn the point cloud off, is really focusing on these elements right here, these outriggers. So the situation that happened was, we were making the updates. Structural engineer was adjusting the decks and figuring out how to do this structurally. And in the old design, again, we went wall to wall. We did a beam across, and then we actually posted down. That's actually probably why this is looking a little weird. It's still kind of remnants of the old design, even though we're keeping this deck here on the second floor. Is we had a post coming down over here. I think there was actually a post here as well, and then the same on the other side. So we had to come up. figured out a design, a structural design for these decks where there were no posts. So he designed these outriggers, and then when he finished, I basically was in a situation where I was waiting on his design, then I could input his design into my drawings, get my drawings updated, and then submit all the drawings at once. So he submits me the drawings last week, and I was like, okay, well, let's just say Wednesday of that week. And I was like, okay, I got to get this to the client by Friday. I came in on Thursday thinking, okay, I got 2 days to finish this. Got a couple other things going on. I'll get it done by, let's say noon on Friday, was in my mind. Well, I come home or I come to the office, and first email I see is from my client, and she's like, well, when can you get these drawings done? I actually need them in essentially an hour, because she needed to submit the drawings to the Historic Commission on that specific day, because that was the deadline for getting the drawings in so that the project can be reviewed on this current month's agenda. So I was like, okay, well, I got an hour to do this. It wasn't a ton of work, but I had to kind of make a few shortcuts with this project, or with getting the documentation done within an hour's time. So with these outriggers, there's two sizes. I have a 4-foot size on this wall and a 3'2" size side outrigger on the stair wall, to match, for the match the depth of the deck. So I'm going to switch over to the family, and you can see it here. Normally, what I would do for something like this, is, if I had the time, well, it's better. You can better see it on the 3D. It's obviously a parametric type situation, so you have different sizes, and I may very well do this down the road, just to have this as something in my library. But you want to have a family that can be, I think in my case this is 4 foot and 3'2". But let's just say, you want a 3'2", you want a 4 foot, but you want any other size as well, 5 foot, 2 foot, whatever it may be. So you want to make it parametric. You want to add parameters that are, that obviously can be adjustable. And in this case, you have an adjustable dimension in the X direction and in the Y direction. So typically I would do that, set that up for parameters. But here I only had about an hour. So to do that and make it work, an hour just wasn't enough. And if you've worked in the family editor and made parameters and things that it can adjust, sometimes it can be finicky. So in this case, what I ended up doing was I made a extrusion, and let's just go to a left or right side view. I made the extrusion and just drew it to what it was going to be. This is, let's click on, 3'2", and I'm pretty sure this is 3'2". Well, close to 3. Actually, I had, I know what it was. I set it to 3'2". Like if I did, actually, here I can do it. 3'2" on the diagonal, and then I kind of adjusted. Again, I had very short time. To be quite honest, I didn't even go back. I haven't even looked back at the engineer's drawing to see if this is exactly what it was. I just needed an element that, in a 3D view, the Historic Commission can see those outriggers on the Revit model itself. So, but yeah, so there was a 3'2", and I'm sure this is probably, let me click on this just to double check. This is probably the 4 foot, right? Yeah. So I made it an extrusion, had the thicknesses and all that of the 3'2". Then I copied it, made another one for the 4 foot. But when I put this back into here, where they're the same family, but you can see, actually, if I click on this, and if you look over here, you can see deck rigger, 4 foot and 3'2". So it's the same family, but there's family types that are there. So how I controlled that was each element had a visibility parameter. And if you look over here under graphics where it says visible, you can see an equal sign on this little gray box. So if I hit equal, you can see I have 3 foot 2 and 4 foot. So these are just visibility parameters. So if I go over here to family types, you'll see under the type name, I have a parameter for 3 foot 2 and a parameter for 4 foot. If I go in here to the editor, you'll see it's a type parameter that, no, I'm in the wrong spot. I mean, well, it is a type parameter, but, oh, when you create them, right? Yeah, well, you can see here, it's a type of parameter. Yes, no, I can't adjust it. You can only do that when you create them, but it's a yes, no parameter. So basically what it's saying here, so on a 3 foot 2, the 3 foot 2 type, the visibility is yes, meaning that this box is checked for that type. If I go switch over to 4 foot, you'll see it switches over to the 4 foot. So I use this yes, no parameter under visibility to control which one is seen in the actual model itself. So, and like I said, that was a quick way to get this done and then submitted, or get this done and then submit and sent the drawings to my client. I had about an hour's time, so this was the quick solution. So I wanted to just show kind of a real world solution of how families can help you get something done in a short amount of time. So hope that's helpful. Have any questions, feel free to comment below. And until next time, Rich checking out. See you guys. Bye.